Hello and welcome back. It's time for Luminosity versus Renegade. Renegades have gone 1-for-1 and it could be worse. I think a lot of people might expect a 2-0 for Cloud9 as one of the stronger teams in North America, but Renegades are literally stepping up that table, baby. And they've got 2 more matches to play, and those are going to be on Cobblestone and Inferno once again. So after a tough Inferno versus Cloud9, who knows what implications they will have, presumably positive, versus Luminosity. But are Luminosity up to the challenge of Renegades? That is the question.
I think so. I think honestly, I'm actually favoring Luminosity a little bit. For some reason, I feel like they have been on a bit of a tear recently, at least in my mind. I feel like what we saw recently from them was pretty damn good as well. Yell's explosiveness is pretty reliable from what we've seen too. So the only thing is that, I don't know, I was expecting a train actually between these two teams. I think both Renegades and Luminosity both like it a lot, but we're not going to get one.
Yep. I think I favor Renegades on Cobblestone. What's the second map?
Inferno.
Inferno.
Okay. Yeah, I think they could split. I think Luminosity could win Inferno, but I think Renegades Cobblestone's really good. I think both teams, like, stylistically are going to be good at the map because they both play this really like 5v5 execute style, so they like to demand their space. It's kind of like the style that FNS has somewhat brought into Cloud9 as well, that we've seen a lot of. And I think sometimes it's like almost to a fault with those two teams, especially Luminosity. But we saw that with Renegades on Inferno as well. I think on Cobble though, Renegades like the map more.
I've got serious pain in my forearm, man.
Describe it as a shooting.
I was just moving my arm, just normally, not doing anything in particular, during the break, and I had just like a massive shooting pain on this side. So I'm really sad. I'm really sad now. I need to take some ibuprofen and just leave.
Nice.
Just not even. The thing is, even when you're typing, right, even doing that can be enough. That could, like, I can feel that a little bit. It's enough to.
Yeah. So
my arm is basically useless now.
I remember when I had RSI. I remember like your arm can't do anything. Everything's painful. You just can't do anything. I remember going to an ICT class and saying to my teacher, "I have RSI." And obviously, like, he's not going to believe me. And he didn't believe me. He just forced me to, like, use the keyboard. I'm like, I honestly, like, you're forcing me to I shouldn't be doing this. But luckily, I could type very fast back then. That was, like, the one benefit of being, like, a gaming nerd. So you can touch type when you're, like, 12 years old. And so everyone's, like, doing this. And you can just, like,
hunting for keys.
So I could just finish everything really quickly and go through it. But everything was
Did you fix
impossible.
Your RSI, or do you still have it?
As soon as I got the symptoms, I knew what it was, and I just stopped everything. And I changed my setup completely afterwards, basically, because I knew what caused it. Because I started doing trick jumping with it's basically kind of similar to what he did originally, because he started playing Overwatch, which is very, like, the kind of movements are much more demanding, and you need
it's just constant stress, constant
higher sensitivity too.
Taut arm, and I had my sensitivity was quite low, even lower than it is now at the time. So I just got annihilated my arm.
Yeah, I had a low sense. I was doing loads of trick jumping. I had like a week where I was just doing loads of trick jumping for hours and hours and hours, and I just couldn't. Being a wrist player with a low, it didn't make sense. So that's what caused it for me. But I just stopped everything for like 2-3 weeks, and then it stopped. So.
Are you less prone to RSI if you use your arm more, like, or just use your arm like more?
Like arm on the table.
Yeah.
Oh, that's maybe
if
maybe
you
why
use
I
your
never
actual
had
arm
it.
like this, then
my arm's always been on the table.
If you're a wrist player, then you can have problems if you have a poor setup. Poor practices. That is in and of itself an entirely a huge topic. Having good setups, but yeah, in there with 3 quick kills, and it looks like Luminosity will be stopping the push rather promptly. Renegades tried a quick one, they tried to pull a fast one, but they will be eliminated.
That was very nice, very clean.
Indeed. So Deagles, 3 Deagles, 2 CZs, armors, grenades.
You name it.
Let's see if they can actually do something with it. It's pretty strong these days. Just 1 Deag, you gain a lot of position really quick with the pistols. It requires some very calm, very patient decision making from the CTs. Try to control spaces. The grenades become very useful. We see the smoke there. 4 flashes in the smoke remaining for Luminosity. They don't have many grenades. That's okay though. As long as they take favorable fights, it should be fine.
This is actually a little bit risky. This wall is good, but if people come out long and mid, then your spot is compromised. It's a lot of pressure on Yell.
Yell is a good pressure player at the very least, so I'm sure he can handle it. Showtime. I do fear for Showtime's life. Actually, I feel like he's going to get traded straight away. It's going to be pretty tough. 7, is it good for 2? One of the MP advantages of the MP9 over the MP7 is in fire rate. And Yell finds himself 1, second. Oh, that's stunning from Yell. That is absolutely what they needed. That could have gone so much more. Like, that could have been so much more damaging, but they only lose Showtime in the end. He makes it look really good.
Yeah, I like the push from Showtime too, because everyone comes out pre-aiming, and so he tries to beat them in their pre-aim, so they doesn't get pre-fired. They just end up pre-dead.
Yeah. God damn.
Clean stuff.
Definitely feel for James though. I don't know if you've ever experienced the tendonitis or RSI, but
no, I haven't.
It's just like not like your arm goes numb because it affects basically like the inflammation, as far as I understand, creates pressure on the nerves, and so there's like numbness occurs. It's like it's the same, similar to the way like sciatica is, if you know anything about sciatica in the back. You get inflammation in your low back, and it causes inflammation, which causes pressure on one of the nerves, I guess. Which we're actually going to get a plan out of this, and also you get shooting pains. And also, if you move your fingers or do anything which involves the tendons, which is basically anything involving your hand, then it can cause shooting pains, or if you're not experiencing them constantly anyway.
Wow.
So it's pretty rough. Like again, like if you ever get that as a game, it just stop straight away.
For how long?
Look at your setup for at least 2 weeks. I would say at least 2 weeks. You want it to be you need it to be fully gone, and you need to change your practices because it's happened for a reason.
Happened for a reason.
It happens for a reason. Like you create the tendonitis for a reason. There's plenty of people that don't get it, and it is very much setup related. I don't know if anyone's particularly prone to it genetically. I don't know if that's the thing, but if so, I'd imagine that'd be incredibly rare. But either way, back into the Counter-Strikers. It's just Showtime in charge of A long. He's playing info. This is a good way to play it. You don't have anyone to fall back on, so you don't really want to take the fight. Just want to get the info, want to slow things down. Oh, that is a really nice shot from Nifty. And Showtime was just shoulder peeking it. That is the only way they get that kill, is if Nifty peeks it with an AWP, which you don't expect. So that is a great play, and definitely nothing to complain about from Showtime's perspective.
Yeah, he totally minimized the threat there and still got killed.
They got AWPs of their own.
Yeah.
Oh, don't expect PKL. They don't expect the third man.
Yeah.
That is brilliant stuff there.
Yell just waiting in the smoke.
I guess with another kill there, the bomb has been it's been set on the ground. Bomb has been lost. Still a last man to try to find it, trying to find the frags, find the round. Oh, Yell, very quick. Yell is such a strong player for Luminosity, and it's cool because not only did they not expect the third player, it's not often you're going to have, like normally you're going to have where Showtime was, you're going to have the AWPer there actually, as opposed to watching this door. So I kind of like that. It's quite cool.
Yeah, the extra rotate totally caught me off guard. At first it seemed like it was just Showtime, then Yell, was up close to the bottom at lower mid choke point, and then PKL's already in a very dedicated position in A. So it's nice adjustments, looking very good. I take it all back. I like that eco strat that they used earlier. Stuck the bomb through drop as everyone went A.
Yeah. Good spot from PKL.
Wow, man.
He's a spicy one.
Spicy pickle.
Spicy pickle. Yeah, nice. Because I didn't really know if you'd get that, but I couldn't be the one to be like, so it's like just stare at you.
Too far away to elbow.
Until you get it. Yeah. See, as commentators, puns are one of the things that keep some level of sanity. Or maybe it's what drives us insane. I don't know. But wordplay can be interesting, can be fun. Sometimes it's smart, sometimes it's dumb. Luminosity feeling smart at the moment with the 5-0 though. It's been a great start for them so far. Up onto Nifty once again. Question is whether there's a different approach from Renegades. Luminosity are strong. They are really strong. They are a team that can surprise, I think. And I feel like Renegades are at a similar level to them, actually. They're one of the closest teams to their level. And have a similar potential. Luminosity, they are defending B with confidence. That's a beautiful headshot to find for the Luminosity defense. Cello's being so annoying. No one's firing back as well, which I find interesting. Oh, Azza with a quick pop onto Nekis. That'll force Cello off the balcony or off the plateau into a more defensible position. DKL spotted out Azza with just with a straight jump AK doing damage. Cello now. And Showtime have to do it all. This is not a good look. Somehow they've been picking off players. Showtime opens things up. Very good kill from Cello. The smoke actually gives him more to play with. Cello finds another one. That is fantastic work. Yustillo now on the 1v1 against Showtime. Playing by the double doors. I don't know if that Yustillo knows his position. Plenty of time to stall out before he has to pop the bomb. But he will get it down immediately. The sure thing. I like it.
Oh boy.
That's a lot of damage though. He can use the flames maybe. Oh, he can't quite duck into cover. Perhaps he thought that the flames would have helped him out there, but very crazy back and forth round, but it will be Luminosity's.
What an absurd round. Just a value Molotov at the end. Really stole the show. They pick up the op, they win the round 6-0.
Is he trying to pick up grenades, just like anything? I think he was.
Just all that time left over.
Trying to get all the things.
Take a look.
Ooh. The thoracic bridge. That's what that's called.
Thoracic bridge.
It's not the typical technique, but it is the thoracic bridge.
This is a great smoke too.
See ya. Yeah, you're right, that was a really good incendiary. I actually thought it was very cool to just get the sure thing on the plant, but I guess he couldn't have accounted for the incendiary. And it's a great start for Luminosity. They keep to their setup behind Yell on the ground. Oh my god, he's going in! Wow, Showdown's being aggressive there. We're not expecting that. A 1-for-1. Generally, the 1-for-1 helps the Ts more than it does the CTs on maps where rotation is long. However, sometimes it can be fine if a team is not as good as you at mid-rounding.
Yeah, it depends how static you can be. And then, you know, the op eases up on makes it easier on rotations as well. So they've got Yell.
That's a very good point. And he's deep on A long. They have all the info.
Oh boy.
That's an insane position. They know it's going to be B. This is a very, very good spot for Luminosity right now. They're looking really strong. They have to hit the shots, but the setup is good. The information is good. But will the execution be good as well? Renegades decide it's time to go. Dropping the smoke, Cello. Going to allow him to help over towards the sandwich area. That's some good damage done. Broken wall, the last 2 men clear for the Renegade side as they get sprayed down by the remainder of the defense.
Wow.
The defense by Luminosity.
Wow, wow, wow. They're looking super good.
They're looking really good right now, 7-0.
Hitting all their shots. That was a really nice play from Cello as well up on V-plat. Dropped the smoke as late as he needed to. Made it very difficult to split. And the cleanup crew commences.
And a good principle there as well. It works on the CT and the T side. On the T side, you want to split the defense. On the CT side, you want to stagger the offense. Because they're always going to try to coordinate for the same timing if we're off the split. And so the basics looking really, really polished so far.
It's really good on these rifle rounds. They put so much pressure on B long as well. Tons of free damage, kills sometimes, even there.
Just going in here, it's very tough. Stopping the CZ rush, and the CZ's doing immense damage. Bomb will be planted as well. The retake is looking quite weak at this point. I'm not sure that they can pull this one off. Showtime will try his hardest hit. Ooh, that's a good shout there, spraying into the chicken coop, but he can't quite find the wall bang he wants. Player on the tree. I think there's a step, but sometimes it can be hard to differentiate between low and high ground with the sounds. So that may have been the confusion there for Showtime. Oh, Yell misses that one, and Orb collected. Renegades pick up a round off the CZ rush. It happens.
The eco, yeah, it happens indeed. they got very lucky. A lot of those kills, I mean, you know, 80, 90 damage, and then they were able to find the CZ frag. So.
And the funny thing is that in some ways, the CZ rounds, it's almost a gun round because it's just that when you have all the guns in utility, you can find a longer amount of time, more edges and opportunities because you have utility, you can play a slower round, but your options with CZs are limited, but it's very strong and you can do something with them that you cannot do with rifles, which is take ground incredibly quickly. So even though you're limited to 2 good options, those 2 options are strong for the CZ, so no shame in losing to it.
Salient point.
Oh dear. Timing wasn't there for Showtime, unfortunately. That may... Oh, I was going to say lend to a false sense of security, but Jacob's smart enough to look on the high ground. Cello is there to trade. Sorry, Jacob was on the high ground. Cello's there to trade anyway. Continues his aggression, so he sees one more player. What can I read it? Yell!
What?
Seriously, with these flickerinos! That is just too much. It seems like they're still in this round.
No!
All over the place.
What a beast!
Dude.
What a comeback! That was, where did that come from? Out of nowhere.
I thought it was done. That's so good.
He separated all those fights so well.
That was perfect.
Up against the wall so they can't trade. Boom.
That drop player never sees that coming. That's so
Never
good.
know what hit him.
He would have heard the second player on Platts moving quickly as well. But if you have good enough headphones, you can determine roughly where somebody is. So the smarts to check behind him, knowing he had time for it, and then going back was pretty awesome. On the subject of sounds, which Dan touched on earlier, I just wanted to mention that the different surface sounds is such an awesome update to the game. I'm so happy that Valve did that. It added so many more levels to the game, more learning curve, but in a positive way. It makes the game deeper.
Total game changer.
Yeah,
sure.
it's really, really awesome. And as somebody who nerds out in the game constantly, I have used that all the time. It's just great. It was always going to take some adjustment, you know, refamiliarizing with the different sounds, but it's so well done. It's one of my favorite updates. And bearing in mind that over longer periods of time, CS is always having generational updates made to the game which go under people's nose because they're having lots of small updates and they only focus on the big updates with maps and so on. It's really, really awesome to have additions like that in the game.
It's very true. I'd like to build on that, but maybe if this ends up being an eco. We've got two in drop. Both are dead.
Nice take from Luminosity, also because they know 100% there's at least 2 players in drop. Yeah, with a nice position, taking from the roof. From the shingles. He's going to be able to make things very hard for Renegades now. Nifty searches, but he can't find him, and in the action of looking for him, he's exposed to Nekiz. Oh, JKS will shoo away his opponent, only to be brought down by Showtime in the end. It's too many men. And 9-1 is the scoreline as Luminosity are proving quite formidable.
Yeah, sometimes these updates, they take some time to develop and they take a lot of testing to get good, but Valve always follow up and make them really strong. Like the VACnet is being introduced.
Yeah, that was cool, that stuff.
The machine learning could actually mean that cheating might be impossible in the future because it's more than just file detection. It's like robot Overwatch almost.
That's actually cool, like the robot that designs all of the cheats basically to be able to detect them ahead of time. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it would goes off behavior and patterns and reports and all the collective bans, what counts as a ban.
Yeah.
And then it just goes off like massive amounts of statistics.
That's really cool.
And eventually just gets so powerful that it's going to have like no errors, and it's like you can't actually design a cheat around that.
That's awesome. Because obviously, for those of you that never really thought about it, the biggest problem with cheating as well is the fact that you're always behind.
Yeah.
You're always behind because someone will develop something. You have to. It's always reactive. The process of anti-cheat is reactive.
You know why they called it VACnet? Because Skynet.
Skynet, yeah.
Yeah, so when you say you're always behind that, well, technically yes, but when you got Skynet, how long are you behind for?
Trying to hack the hackers.
Probably not very long. Skynet, give it to me. Rise of the robots. Showtime has shadow advantage in his position. He He's still vandalizing the area. Very poor from him. Showtime. Didn't want to wait around. 5 versus 3. Luminosity chose to go for the information. I mean, if all 3 of them were there, he was probably going to die, even with the advantage he had, so fair enough. Now, Renegades will take the rifle towards the B bomb site with the last 2 players, and the player on the drop should hear Jacob make him some steps, but he doesn't know if that's Stilo going towards A or Jacob going towards B.
Such a strong game from Luminosity so far.
Being very fluid here on CT side. Making it extremely difficult for Renegades to figure out what's open, what's not, what's safe, what isn't.
Thank you for Luminosity for their patience in the late start to this match, by the way. Always good to not forget that kind of thing. It's appreciated by one and all. 5 for both teams in this round. See if Renegades can change their fortunes. They've got a few rounds with which to... Oh, unlucky. The landing inaccuracy punishing Yell there. Too much bouncing. He's been watching too many Launders videos.
Smoke. This is the classic. Trying to wrap the player, and JKS, he traded through the smoke, actually.
Smoke, yeah.
That is a little bit crazy, and that gives Luminosity a bit of bother and a big opportunity here for Renegades, but this setup could be so money.
Oh my god.
Cello's set up to kill everyone. And here it is. They think, oh, he's waiting. The trap has been sprung, and now it's just Jacob in the 1v2. We saw a 1v5 on Inferno, but he's gonna... Oh, like ships in the night.
He doesn't realize he's being blocked?
I think he does. Now he figures it out. Oh, the crouch peek, and Jacob gets it again. Clutch to win the round for Renegades. It is only a mere 2 rounds, however. And Luminosity's money is still in a decent place for a full buy.
That was such a cool setup. They had the... And that's the thing they've been doing a lot on CT sides. They've been re-aggressing into these positions. Like here they lose. They get these 2 kills at A, and then suddenly 2 people are at A in the most dedicated positions ever. There's no way they know that Cello's here. Why would you ever clear this?
Yeah, this is... It's such a sick bait setup because it's...
His teammate is allowed to die.
Yeah.
They made sacrifice. The head rolled down the Aztec temple, and then Cello cleaned up the mess.
Yell's been dying a lot these past few rounds.
It's almost reminiscent of when Simple was on the flip side. He would often be in that position with a very over-aggressive AWP as they're still learning the map and so on, and learning their identity, but it was very notable. It was a costly position with flip side way back then. And that's where I learned the impact of that play going down early and often.
I think for him, he's actually died on the long peak twice, and on that round as well. So I think you know, playing along almost the exact same way, it's just becoming expected. Oh, wow. I mean,
He hasn't got a kid or anything, so...
Yeah.
He wants... It's like, that was 1 kill, but he wants 2. The funny thing is he could get the AWP off JKS.
Oh my god, what's even happening?
Oh, he might... Oh. There's... You know what? Azza must be so supremely confused.
Yeah.
Like, where did he come from? Azza's thinking. Either way, he doesn't get the AWP out of their hands, so that's something. To be fair, that peak has happened. I think Showtime went pretty aggro there a couple of rounds as well.
That's true.
So that's one of those spots where you switch positions, and the person who's in the position that he hasn't been in before, like 6 rounds in, suddenly has no history of what's happened. So and what the previous player has done creates expectation for the T's in this position. So you don't have as much of an element of surprise anymore for fast timings on your peaks. So something to bear in mind when switching positions. Oh, they line up, and one more chance, but no 3, only the 2, but still damage, massive damage. Oh my god, that could have been so ingenious. That was so close to working. There's no way you could have timed that.
Uh-oh.
Or very close. Everything is being calmed down, but Cello's lurking. Ooh. Can't quite find his engagement. The Renegades, they've been managing to slowly but surely claw back some rounds, looking for a respectable scoreline. Looking at that 10-5 finish, or 5-10 finish, I should say. That was so huge. Oh my god, there is a world where he like lands on like kind of like the back half of Azza's model, and Azza doesn't see him but hears it, the sound, and then has no idea what's going on and dies. Maybe. Maybe, yeah. That would have been really interesting. Tech pause.
Tech pause.
Someone's water pipe is burst. Something's burst, maybe.
Not the pipes. Not the pipes.
Not the anything but the pipes. The pipes.
Reminds me of when I worked in property and offices and stuff. And you'd get, sometimes with a really old building, you'd have an invasive survey where they didn't have records of where the structural pillars were and so on. So they'd make a hole in every single wall to see what was what and what was where.
Wow.
Always interesting. Walk around.
Trial by error.
There's holes everywhere. Trying to like get somebody to rent it. Interesting times. Not afraid of a challenge. So let's go. Last round of the first half. Showtime. Ooh. How do they trade in this position? Even Nifty can't do it on this occasion. And a bomb has been lost immediately, but Showtime is very much on his lonesome. PKL rotating really wide, but surely Renegades won't be dashing to the rescue here. In fact, they're looking for the rotation instead. Smart response from Renegades, and I'm not sure if PKL made some footsteps, but he's trying to help Showtime out, who's not going to protect the bomb. Wants to stay alive instead.
Yeah, that bomb's like, it's in too deep of a position perhaps. And they have the man advantage, well, they have a big advantage on men, so I like how they've handled this. Although damage will still be done. A lot of skill on Renegades, of course, but they can't win the round. 11-4 finish on the CT side. That was the first 9-10 rounds were so strong by Luminosity. Really well played. And with a very well-timed triple kill from PKL, which, I mean, that was where it could have turned around, but PKL shut it down with a clutch, so.
That last round was actually really cool too. They got the kills, and then Showtime fell back off the bomb, but once he got the 2 kills, he's like, all right, you guys push long B, because they have to go back and try to recollect this bomb. So there's no way they're just gonna like execute B or something like that. So it's free map control, you know, totally safe, and it's a lot of information.
Now all they do need, now all they need to do is win a pistol. Now all they need to do. Renegades. Some very explosive players on Luminosity these days. Renegades and Yell. All about the explosions. Gravitating back towards B. Renegades not doing anything aggressive towards A, which is what Luminosity were looking for. As Renegades don't give anything away, it's going to be time to rush B, but the setup here is pretty powerful from Renegades. If JKM is on point here with the USP. Oh, Astillo! It's still very tough to break this on plateau against the USPs. JKM can hold them up forever. He's just going to frag out. 2 kills for Astillo, 2 kills for JKM, or just 1 kill for JKM. Oh, no, it's 2 kills for JKM. His health bar is just obscuring the number.
It's in the worst place.
I was like looking at it, I'm like, is it like a bug of the, because it must be 2 for him, surely.
That's really got Renegades back into the game. That's a huge round for them, a huge round. Nifty on the CT side. Dangerous things to come.
Very similar to the pistol round that Luminosity gave to them on their CT side.
Let's see what Luminosity can do with this force buy. Or rather, how Renegades can defend. What they choose to do. JKS will be, well, he was by the doors on A, but he's going to move back again. The ranged game being played by Renegades, even with the, well, as the close man with the SMG, the MP9 in particular, but even he will back off. But he's got a great funnel with which to abuse players should they try to jump through it. It'd be easy for them to frag him. So Luminosity can play the close quarters towards long A, and then we'll need to burst. They've got smokes for the door, maybe the balcony if that's what they want, and 2 flashbangs as well. Avoiding the grenade timing, not giving any sound cues away. That flashbang will have to be brilliant. The lurker from B rotating towards A, so the whole team will be here for this push.
Very quiet. All quiet on the western front. Until now, they emerge, they burst. The smokes are down, and Renegades are locked out of the bomb site. This could be a horrific reset. It's a very well picked bomb site to attack, and in the way that they've attacked it, it's been marvelous so far for Luminosity, and Renegades are going for the save.
Yeah. Oh my god.
This is very problematic.
I don't know if the how good the flashes were. It seemed like they were somewhat effective at least. But oh man. Upon first contact, 2 kills instantly.
Yeah, a really good round from Luminosity. I like that they attack A as well. I mean, B is all kinds of madness, all kinds of things to go wrong, but if you're allowed to get up A, to a position where you can execute some grenades, which perhaps was not anticipated from Renegades, that they would have to worry about any kind of a set piece as well. Very rough situation. The question is now what the follow-up round is like. What is the call now for Luminosity for the follow-up round? Do they have a specific plan in mind? Do they just want to try to force the A defense back? Then make a decision afterwards after they get that info?
I would go to B. I don't like going A on the anti-ecos oftentimes just because it's such a big site with so many angles. And it can take so long from when you show yourself to when you get to the bomb planting zone that rotates can occur. So, I mean, a default's fine, but I like long B because you can molly out everything from safety, get out, and watch your backs. That was a little dangerous there. Drops forfeits a rifle versus the force up.
Slowly creeping, inviting a peek. How does he escape? 50, well, he doesn't. Gets around the corner, but nothing more than that. And again, Renegades have to turn tail. So after winning the pistol, this has been a disastrous second half for them. Thought the comeback was on, and maybe Nifty won't get that opportunity to light up the scoreboard. 4 for 16 at the moment is Nifty.
He's really been shining on the CT sides almost exclusively, huh?
I think as a sniper on Cobblestone, you're going to have more action on the CT side.
That's true.
Because they're coming to you rather than the other way around. But this kind of sucks for Renegades, at least. They've got nice jackets though.
How many games of Counter-Strike do you think we casted, James? How many maps? It's gotta be thousands. It's gotta be in the thousands. Like,
I think we do a few hundred every season.
So, well, I remember doing 100 in 2 weeks, or less than 2 weeks, like 100 maps.
Yeah, it must be thousands.
It's gotta be, hasn't it? Like, we used to do so much. We used to do all the Star Series stuff, FACEIT stuff.
Yeah,
Europe, North America.
You guys have really fallen off.
For all the regions. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, Star Series League as well as our league and the Oceanic stuff.
Yeah. And then loads of other stuff.
Yeah.
Then lands. Oh, the Oceanic League, my god, I remember that.
Killed my five-a-side football days.
Yeah, that was like the weekend. It's like, so you guys, you've been casting a week. How about, we've got this new league, it's on the weekend. Good news, it starts at 7 AM. But it's got to be there at 6 AM, guys. Thanks.
I love it though. I really enjoy watching international Counter-Strike. So, it has its benefits.
Yep, I wasn't complaining about that life. Luminosity down a player early on, and they'll be gravitating towards B. And Renegades actually, you know, they don't have much in the way of equipment here. So Nekus on the information finding game that's a very unfavorable battle. And and you're very far away from a position where you can have a favorable battle. So the information game there has not paid off whatsoever for Luminosity, and this is disastrous, honestly. Absolutely disastrous here from Luminosity. Too spread out. I think they took a lot of bad fights. I don't like the overall gameplay. I don't know if this was a well-called round, actually, just generally from them. After you lose a man, you've got a spot where you've got a guy with an AK.
Yeah.
Like if you're 4v5 against Nico, why is one of your players really deep by himself in a very unfavorable position?
That was actually a criticism I had of Luminosity, just that when they lost one of their players on T side, they didn't have good protocols for like the low number setups, and they would end up losing a lot of rounds. And they relied heavily on the CTs making a mistake to get that first kill. And they were really good if they got the opening kill to close it out, but otherwise would just do that thing that you just mentioned where they'd spread thin or make some really risky play.
Yeah, that round looks, if you pause it at the 4v5, what they were doing doesn't look good. Does not look good. As you say, protocols super important. Come back to that point in a moment. We'll see if Luminosity can create opportunity in this 3v5. I think their money's run out if they can't. Yeah, they are broke.
The well is dry.
Well, it's dry indeed, but the 3 AKs are still in tow. Maybe they can find some water. Doesn't look likely though. All these grenades sinking in. The quicksand, Luminosity still moving in for some support as well, and they're just getting taken out. They're just getting taken out on plateau, man. What else is there to say?
Indeed, now they're on the eco. And going back to the idea of protocols, can never really talk enough about it. So, for those of you that sort of don't understand, it's just sort of an idea that when a situation happens, that your team understands uniformly, like everyone on the team understands that a specific reaction to that. So no one has to think of like, oh, should we do this? Should we do that? It's like you're down in the 5v4. Okay, you're going to move as a team to a bomb site or something like that. It could be as simple as that, as opposed to what we saw there, which was spread out, spread out and try to walk into a very bad spot, try to find a fight by yourself. Protocols can also be like, for example, if you see like a bunch of utility and early timing on your position, your response can be pre-programmed to a certain degree to cut down on having to think or communicate to your teammates, because that takes time. Communicating to your teammates, registering, and then you making the play together.
Well then, okay. AK's getting going. Will they check the plateau, however? Can they get the bomb down? Would be a much needed bonus. Cello's got the AK now. Yusilo trying to buy time. The bomb's got to go down, but they're forcing the issue. 40 seconds, they've got 2 AKs and a smoke grenade. They'll put it on that tree position. They could boost up behind this, and they're going to do exactly that. 33 seconds, and that could be absolutely lethal. Some spray to try and run distraction. JKS, will he be seen around the boulder position? That's just in time, and they got pretty far with those Glocks.
And one of the interesting things there as well is that on the tree position, I feel like some players are so good at just understanding the exact movement. We saw, I forget who was the one that got boosted up, but he's sort of searching around, sort of like, what can I see? As opposed to sort of, some players just know, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some players just know exactly what to peek.
Yeah, as if those angles are as familiar as any other peak on the map. Like,
yeah.
It's like just a standard position or something. The reverse boost on the tree. It's true.
But that was a good go from Luminosity. But Renegades starting to bring this back. Luminosity starting to lose traction. Finding difficulty in creating a consistent approach to gaining advantage and then closing the advantage. Luminosity so far now. Well-timed smoke by Renegades. Luminosity, there's no way in. This is always a kind of a big problem when you're trying to get map control and the CT just deny it. Because then what are the reactions? Do you wait and try to push it back when the smoke is gone? That's what they're going to go for, and it's going to work out for both kills. A 3v3. much better position. But look at the push here. Oh, great reaction time from PKL.
Dude.
He's going to push the play forwards. JCam is lying in wait. And there's 40 seconds to make the play here now for Luminosity. I love the urgency from PKL after the frag. That's good.
Renegades forced to split up, which makes it really hard. But Luminosity are running this clock down. And again, if the bomb carrier gets picked off, ooh, Nifty, if he sees this run, does he hear something? I think he does. There's the first one, and that's the bomb carrier, of course. 10 seconds to plant this bomb, and the clock is now their enemy, forcing Nifty into the open, but he continues to deliver these kills. Has he done his job? Ooh, that Molotov might have spread. The grenade don't hit the mark. Jacob now, surely on the low ground, and he's got the angle. Really scary. The race, that's the problem. Like, they walked away from the drop. If someone's in the drop, they have to walk, not to give the sound cue away. But at that point, got to start moving faster.
Jacob's been really consistent and reliable, fragging by himself, and especially in that clutch too. He's won a 1v2 and that 1v1 in this game. This was a great hold though.
It's really nicely played. You feel like this is a team where Jacob can come into his own a bit. I think on previous teams we've had spots where maybe he's not had the best role for the kind of player that he is.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that's been a story that we've seen numerous times.
Yeah, we see players come to life in brand new roles, and that's something that's hard for us to know or see until it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, close one. It's a burst from Luminosity moving up to the A site. There are 3 CTs here. The counter flashes from both sides. Who's going to have the advantage? Nifty creating space for himself. JK is trying to spray transfer. There's trades all over the place. Absolute mess. But it's going the way of Renegades for the time being, and that's even better, leaving Showtime alone. Renegades are closing that gap. 10 rounds now. Double figures for Renegades. How far can they go? Is this another comeback on the boards?
It is very well looking like that. The thing is that there was a round. I think if you watch them, you can go back and you can find a round where all the Luminosity's momentum is just completely sapped, and it's just gone really. And then there seems to be a struggle as they start to test their defaults and so on. And it seems that Renegades have done a much better job at dealing with those now, and the adaptation is now on Luminosity. And it's hard to adapt to a dynamic AWPer because of the very nature of AWPing. You don't know where it's going to come from, and the fact that it's quite often untradeable. That is the strength of the AWP.
Ooh.
Very nice Molotov. Oh, that's beautiful from Nifty. Continuing to do the dance of the devil, but the devil will be... What will he be?
In the detail.
I don't know. It will be, because he took that shoulder peek, and not only did he throw the Molotov down, but he peeked just wide enough that Yell shot too early.
Yeah, yeah.
It was beautiful.
It was perfect.
Some tight peeks.
Just AWP things, AWP versus AWP. It's a very tough dynamic. And this is Luminosity now 4v4. And it's time to break down the door of the B-bomb site. Kick it in.
45-second mark. Jacob flashed off immediately. Can't pull his Molotov in time. Yustillo, though, with a 2K, trying to get around the corner. Stuck on the corner of the wall, though. 2-on-2. Do they gamble push straight through the smoke? They do. Renegades. JKS manages to get out, but not too far. Luminosity say no. Round number 14 for them. What does this mean for the money of Renegades? It's a tight spot, but Jacob's got almost $10,000, so they can spread the wealth.
It will be two more hard-fought rounds to pull out this W. And if we look at the half so far, I mean, Renegades have had a pretty fantastic CT side overall. A lot of rifle rounds won. So I don't think this game is over. In fact, if Luminosity lose this, I mean, we're nearly tied.
That was quite handy, all things considered. Chelo smokes off, he'll have to bide his time. That's a nice jump away in case of any further grenades. That's one place where the HE grenades are quite brutal. If you're moving up as a T side, you do get wrecked by them more often than not, so dangerous grounds. A re-Molotov, and it looks like we might see a boost from the Renegades.
The re-aggression is there. But it's relatively quiet on the map, and they haven't actually followed up by going over. Very aggressive setup from Nifty and JKS. Yell's here as well. I wonder if they jump past his angle.
Slow creep up A long now, spotted out by Nifty. Walking into the setup. The trades come in, and Azza by the cannons can often be overlooked. It's a pretty solid off angle. It can, as you can see, it covers both approaches. And he's going to get the drop on Yell. He's still in the distraction, able to win his battle. And that is a good setup. And as you say, you know, if Luminosity lose this round, it's pretty much tied. And that reality is coming true.
2 rounds of saving potentially. Setup was strong. Luminosity did a good thing, I think, by letting Cello work for a second at B to try to hold rotates, cause the smoke to go down to make sure no one can get quickly over to A, but they still didn't give themselves a lot of time to hit A. They still set up a little bit late.
CZ 75. 5 of them here for the Brazilian team. Is it just me, or is North American Counter-Strike considerably slower than European Counter-Strike?
It's these there's certain teams that are just, I mean, there's certain teams in Europe that play very slowly too. But this matchup in particular,
yeah.
Then we have FNS's complexity, and now FNS influence on Cloud9.
Slow it down.
So that, yeah, it's been very slow. I'm not a huge fan.
I mean, we did also see the fastest European Counter-Strike possible today. So we saw what FaZe beast Gambit in like 20 minutes on Mirage, and then they beasted Gambit in like 20 minutes on
SK
Nuke.
always had the perfect balance of like slow and fast.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Good spray down from Azig. Can't get the third though. And will there be another challenge? Nekis will pick up the bomb. He's going to hit this, and that's an easy frag with the CZ. It's a pretty big push, and it's not going to work out for Renegades. Bomb is stuck, though. Interestingly, trapped between A and B. And he still has no idea what's happening. He's going to take a safe position on B, and that's completely fine. If he just takes over Plateau in a deep position or places stairs, he's going to be fairly safe here. This is a decent position. It's fairly predictable, but he can get the info, get the rotation, delay for as long as he can before he takes the fight. And he's not able to delay for perhaps long enough there.
Oh my gosh, this was supposed to be a free round for them to come back and tie this game up, and now
they might have to save. They have to save, in fact. That's nuts.
Wow.
I feel like both of Renegades and Luminosity, if they had a change of sort of how the leadership works, could be very good, fast teams as well. That's the interesting thing to me as well. I think they've got really good. Both teams have great players for the fast play style.
I think
Nifty, Jake, in fact, everyone on Renegades.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah, and I think Nifty doesn't even lend himself to his own style of calling in a weird way.
Yeah.
I actually think his IGLing is really good, but I think it's, I don't want to say one-dimensional because that's kind of like rude almost, but it's just the style of, we need these win conditions before we start our round. I think it's a little bit too, it's too calcified. You know,
Right, yeah.
I think it's
not dynamic enough.
It's not fluid enough, yeah.
That's a fair criticism.
I think maybe you could add layers to it. Because we've seen a couple of T-halves where he wasn't able to do well. Did extremely well on the CT side, which tells you he was playing well that game. But why is he, as what should be the star player, not getting more opportunities to get kills?
I guess you'd have to look to Fallen to figure that out, that formula. And yeah, Luminosity, as you say, that key round that perhaps there should be Renegades building back is going to be Renegades losing and giving Luminosity match points. So they will, however, Renegades will be able to take down one player. Trade it out on Plateau, and they'll progress. All the information's there. It's just going to be a slugfest. And the grenades are falling incredibly well for Renegades. Not much you can do here if you're Luminosity. Maybe put that armor on and try to hide in the armor. Why has no one tried that?
Start parrying.
Reset time.
It's like a Scooby-Doo moment, just hide in the armor in the wall.
Aru?
Well, this is going to be a long 60 seconds.
I feel like Luminosity are also a team that, as I mentioned, would have all the skill sets to play like very good explosive Counter-Strike. Yell, Cello, Nekis, very good in those spots. PKL as well has shown that he's really good in the very fast. He's very dynamic as a player.
That's true. I think, yeah, in terms of philosophy, maybe they have that, like, the idea in their head that, like, all right, this is how we like to play, but this is not playing correct.
Does Nifty have an angle to see him cross here? Ah, he does.
But if he gets the one tap onto Nifty, well, the long range spray down not going to work out. That's actually, again, like that angle. There's if you go back and do demo review, you can think about what are some likely spots, and you want to think, okay, what is the most likely spot? If it's rush, I think he's jiggle peeking that to get the info. The other player who's watching from door will fire first, and then you can crouch peek into it or wide peek into it. Like you get some more options if you, but it comes to the gamble. So if you just crouch peek and try to check everything, then if someone's waiting for you, you're gonna be toasted.
Pistols for Luminosity. Waiting for their next spy, and Renegades will look to hold. Once again, so far so good for the international squad.
Pistols. PK doesn't even have pistols. Oh, okay, it's a deagle now. Do you see that on the HUD? It was just gone. It's just nothing.
Ding ding. Ding dong. Choose, take your pick.
It would actually, sorry, go ahead.
This is interesting because if Luminosity slow things down, obviously this will spread Renegades across the map, and they'll probably get a 2 versus 1 because Renegades may want to put one person on each site as they're doing, and then one person in drop. So there is this is a dangerous round now for Renegades.
It's quite scary. Good positions though. The off angle on plateau is very, very solid. There's no armor on these players. ECS shouldn't lose a 1v1. And I doubt that they have the ability to check for him.
Oh, what if Yell peeks him?
Is there an angle here?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, he's missed! Oh, he's north it right up, but PKL's done the job of a deagle instead.
Wow.
Get a gun. And an incendiary.
How do you play? There's 20 seconds to go. It's two
He's
players
just mollied himself off the only place he could plant the bomb.
That is kind of nuts.
It's off. Crazy.
That's so unlucky.
That's tough. I mean, yeah. I don't know how he could have used a molly. Like, what? Where he? Anywhere in that area he was throwing was obviously not the best place he could have used it, but that would have been really hard to.
I guess he was assuming somebody might have been standing behind the statue, having known where he was after the kill. But unfortunately, it just went on the default plant instead. But it was an eco round for Luminosity, and here is their buy round. They've got to win it here, more or less. Or maybe their backs against the wall at 15-14. The force buy will bring the required aggression to close this game out. Pico waiting maybe for a flank, for a pop flash play. There's a grenade of his own. So you still will probably catch him off guard here. And again, we'll watch the slow round play out.
Lots of good information gained from Renegades. If this goes unanswered, you can say this round is pretty much over. Oh, the smoke behind you still as well. I don't think it's going to cause any distractions for Luminosity. They're going to clear this. It's free to clear it, right? Oh.
Oh, the timing. And he saw the underhanded smoke. Oh, no.
He heard it, too.
Yeah, that is a disaster. That's a big risk, and it's not going to work out. Renegades now, they're still playing 2 to a bomb site. Not going for the panic rotation, but the rotation will come in now, surely. JKM stuck in a horrible position, getting burned down. This could be the round for Luminosity. They're looking incredibly strong in this position. They are bulldozing the defense. It's just Nifty. He's going to charge him. He needs to get something. It's desperation. It's a 4v1. Luminosity look like they've done it. JKS stuck behind a wall of smoke, behind a hail of bullets, explosions, dust. And that's it, 16-13, Luminosity will close the match eventually. It did look uncertain though after a very strong CT side, which looked very guaranteed, the match that is. Renegades came all the way back.
All the way back. Almost all the rounds here on Cobblestone, and that is the second last game of the day. There's one more game to come between these two teams, and that is going to be on Inferno, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Inferno.
Yeah, that was a slog. But there we are, Luminosity taking over the line. Just needed that additional pressure, perhaps. So that's Renegades 1 for 2 of the 4 games they have today. We'll see if they can tie the records in the match after this one.
It'll be a big one. Thought that Renegades would take this, but
I thought we had so many NRG games in a row. I wanted them to be a bit more spread out, you know, just get. Because you can't eat all the chocolate at once.
That's true.
You know, you can't do that.
I do.
You got to spread it out.
Yeah,
spread out the chocolate, man.
I think we all do.
You guys have no impulse control. Come on.
No, I don't.
Have you guys ever eaten a whole row of Oreos?
Yeah.
That's the life.
I actually forgot what Oreos were for a second there. So
Well,
I mean, no, I don't. I've not eaten that many of them. Those I would definitely make me feel sick. So that is Cobblestone out of the way. Inferno will be our 4th and final match of North American Counter-Strike today and of the day in general. So stay tuned after the break. Inferno, we'll see you soon.